570 Sports, bringing you an exclusive new edition that we're adding to our show called JK Breakdown with Coach Justin Carney. It should be pretty good. I'm excited for it, and Justin's going to take over.
Looking forward to working with you, Irv. Coach Justin here. We got a sample preview coming up here for 570 Sports JK Breakdown. We went out to Scranton High School tonight, a featured game of the week between the Northeast Panthers and the Dunmore Lady Bucks. This game was really hyped up all week. Two undefeated teams coming into the game. Irv, what did you think about the atmosphere at the game?
Well, first off, let's talk about a little bit about the hypeness before the game. So the hypeness before the game, like you got Zaya Smalls and you got Chrissy Jacklinski, who's on that NEPA Elite seventh grade team that's heading to where are they heading to?
Tennessee to play for a tournament for nationals.
Right. So
they clinched that two weeks ago at Riverfront. It was a great tournament. I was lucky enough to see it live. The team played very well.
Right. So we're coming in there knowing that we're playing. You know, they're going to be playing. Dunmore's going to be playing some great basketball players. And,
those players, they play really well on the court together. You can start to see that their chemistry is really starting to build, especially that top three. Now with Jilla coming into the mix, along with Smalls and Janinsky, as you mentioned. The three of them led the scoring. The team had 46 points, and they had 38 of the 46 points. So looking forward, I mean, you know who you have to stop when you're coming into Northeast Gym.
Right. So something that Dunmore didn't expect. They didn't expect Jaden Allers to be able to play the way that she played. I mean, she played an amazing game.
Yeah, if you looked at the opening part of the game, you could see the focus really was on those two. And once they got out into transition, you know, Jayla really took over early. She had 10 of her 12, 8 of her 10 points were in the first half.
Right. Right, yeah. It was tough. So let's break the game down. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. The first quarter, we open up with a very odd tip situation where, you know, Northeast won the tip and immediately turned it over to Dunmore on a travel. And it was actually nice to see as we focus on some of the referee calls in that situation. The possession arrow remained with Dunmore, even though it was a very quick switch in that, and they remained possession after that. We saw both teams open up in a 2-3 defense. And the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game, they really were just slowing down, trying to read each other. And to start the game, it really opened up with just Northeast getting out on turnovers, rebounds, and just out in the run. And getting out, they quickly went up 14-0 in the first quarter. And it was all layups after fast break after fast break. It was kind of like the game was on replay.
Right. And that, to me, ultimately decided the game because Dunmore's trying to fight their way back in the whole game. They're burning energy, and, you know, ultimately it pretty much cost them the game.
Yeah, it took Dunmore out of their comfort zone early. They like to play ahead. They're used to playing ahead. They're used to playing with a lead and being patient on offense, which is one thing I think Northeast did a good job of, was speeding Dunmore up. 1 or 2 passes, shot, and then you got Small down there with the big rebounds. It was one and done. Every possession was one and done, and then you see Dunmore, they were getting a little frustrated, but the thing I liked about Dunmore, though, being down the entire game, they still showed a ton of fight in the fourth quarter. They kept driving, they kept attacking, kept trying as much as they could to stay in that game. Even cutting it finally to single digits with 4 minutes left in the game, they showed a lot of heart. They really did, and never gave up because the matchup they had is a very tough one tonight.
Right. That's why, I mean, not to jump forward, but that's why I'm very interested to see the next matchup that's going to take place on Wednesday at Dunmore, you know, where it'll be a little bit of a different feel where some of the girls are missing shots that they don't normally miss and things like that. Like, I think that that home court may help them out a little bit.
Definitely. When you talk about home court, Scranton High School is one gym that takes a lot of adjusting to do. It's a big high school court with big surroundings, the depth behind the baskets. Always known as one of the toughest shooting gyms in the thing, which I really think affected Dempsey early. Now, you saw late in the fourth quarter, she did find her stroke, along with, you know, Melise Blackwell knocking down a 3, and Dunmore finally started to get their groove towards the end. Which, again, we'll look forward to Wednesday. The nice thing about this 8th grade girls league is you play right back to back after each other. So it stays fresh in your mind.
Right. So as being a coach, I'm putting the hard hat on. You're being the coach at Dunmore. What adjustments are you making?
I'm going to stay in that half court trap that prevents Small from getting the ball. They really executed that 1-2-2 half court trap very well at the end. I don't think you could sit back, which allows them in a 2-3 zone, it allows them to get her the ball in the high post easily in that situation. But the other thing is they really need to let their offense be their defense. You usually hear it the other way around, let your defense lead to your offense. But in this situation, I'm going to flip it and say, be patient against their zone. Work the ball around the top. Work it in and out. Catch, turn, look the other side. You can't have one and done with an athletic team like that gets out on the break, especially with such a presence on the rebounding.
Right. So I'm going to put my coaching hat on. Got my baby on, suited and booted. And I mean, so during the game, I'm talking about adjustments. So during the game, Dunmore's pressing. They're just getting the ball to Zion. She's just dribbling straight down the other side of the court and getting the easy layup. So whereas though you say, you would drop it back into the half court, I would drop it into the half court too. I may even consider going in a 2-3 zone just to be able to slow them down and force them to have to move the ball from side to side, because it seemed like there was 3 against 5, but the 3 were beating 5. You understand what I'm saying? So kind of like make them move the ball, and you could take other girls out of the game, and maybe that may work in your favor.
Yeah, and seeing this rivalry going forward, the first couple minutes of the game are going to be very important. Watching Northeast versus Dunmore, you can see how Northeast gets out to such a quick start, with their offensive presence on the speed and the length on the court and pushing the ball and finishing the layups. Just to summarize the game as we look back, we could take a look at a clip here, and we will show basically everything led from either Northeast getting a rebound and Dunmore not having somebody back, or Northeast getting a steal off a turnover and getting out on the break, as you see here, against the extended 2-3 zone for Northeast right here. If you look at it, they're very big. Okay, they hold everything out here. You can't really throw skip passes against them because Small is going to jump right in front and get it. And here's the tough part. Once she shoots, she's already in rebounding position, right back up.
Right.
A lot of things you teach kids, if you look at it, a lot of kids stop on their layups on the opposite side. One thing we like to teach as coaches and trainers is to finish through. Not only does it allow you to get in good rebounding position on the other side, if you make it, you could easily transition back to defense and get in your defensive spot.
Right.
But just looking at that clip right there, you need to move the ball around, and I actually did hear something good from the crowd that you need to attack opposite of her.
Right. Take this video back. I want to show you something.
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you a couple things I noticed that Dunmore's done wrong. First, okay, so let her swing the ball. So she swings the ball. One, she misses her. You know what I mean? She misses her. And this is a pass here, a layup here, or a layup there. She can't guard 3 girls. There's no way.
And the other thing...
And then Zaya's out.
Right, and the other thing, you look at the spacing. Okay, Dempsey should definitely be staying out towards the three-point line, because now you're bringing all that presence to the middle of the lane.
Right.
Which is Northeast's strength.
Right.
You want to keep that guard out behind the three-point line. One thing I always say is I wish you could have bungee cords tied to them and pull them back.
Right.
Because you need that spacing. You need to create that space. Against the zone, it's very important.
Right.
Because now, instead of Allers having to guard only here, if Dempsey's all the way out to the corner,
right,
Allers has a long way to go on that pass. So if we pass to Dempsey here and then hit the middle,
right, and then it's a drive. It's a drive and a layup for Jackie.
It's perfect execution at that point.
Right.
The spacing is very important at that if you look at it.
Right. Now, even when you run this play after the turnover, take a look at it. Now, keep running the play. So here comes the turnover. But now watch this. Go ahead and play it. Where's the run? Where's the hustling? Nobody's hustling back?
Right. I mean, if you look at it, eventually the Northeast players beat everybody down the floor.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could be with playing in Scranton High School. I mean, this is the biggest gym in our area as far as high school goes, along with prep and some other gyms. They're just not as big as that.
Right.
It could be an atmosphere change. It could be, things along those lines that the kids just aren't used to, and
Right.
that comes with home court advantage.
Right.
So hopefully Wednesday, Dunmore could get it back together. Game plan. They got a day to practice. Get ready for it.
Right.
And we'll see what happens.
They got a tough challenge ahead. I mean, you got to think about it today. Like there wasn't like Zaya dominated, but she didn't dominate. She didn't dominate in the half court setting. She dominated by her fast breaking ability. Like when it was in the half court, there wasn't much, but they probably had about 20, 30 points off of runouts.
Yeah, out of their 46 points, 30 of them came in transition.
Right, which is you just can't win a game like that on any level.
No. And at halftime, the turnover differential, Dunmore really limited their turnovers in the second half. From what I remember, there was only 5 in the second half. However, in the first half, it was 14-6.
Right.
And you look at that right there, that's tough to recover from.
Right. Well, we don't want to knock Dunmore down completely because come late third quarter, fourth quarter, they kind of got it together. They just had a deep hole to get out of, and
they fought.
Took a lot
They cut it to 9 with 3 minutes left, and refereeing doesn't always go your way. There was a very important kick ball missed at the one point, which at that Dunmore cuts it to 7 if they get it down the next possession.
Yeah.
And then you have a different game.
Yeah.
After the kick ball, there was an easy layup made.
Yeah.
But that's something you can't reflect on and go forward. But looking at Dunmore, they really started to drive hard and then kick.
Right.
Rather than try to swing it around the top of the key and just shoot, they drove hard. Like you noticed, their drives got a lot harder towards the end of the game.
Right.
And they were going right into them.
Right.
So, with that being said, let's look forward to Wednesday.
Right. Well, before you do anything,
Okay,
I got a tough question for you.
Go
This
ahead.
is your show, but I gotta grill you.
All right.
All right. So, you were in the stands with me. We were listening to the fans, the audience, the whole atmosphere of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of parents were upset about the officiating.
Correct.
You're an official.
I am.
How do you feel about the officiating?
At that level, it's very tough, especially with a two-man crew. A two-man crew is very tough to officiate because you have a lot of gray areas in between. Bringing that third person into the high school game really makes a difference with, now you have 6 eyes focusing on something. Then the 2 other officials are allowed to focus on their primary areas.
Right.
With two-man, a lot of officials get ball watching, as we like to call it, within the official world. You start to watch the ball, and then you miss stuff off the ball. One thing that I believe is myself, and I'm sure my fellow officials might get mad at me for this, but so be it. You have to be better at staying in your primary and seeing through the play. Because once you lose the primary, that's very tough to see things once they come into your area. But other than that, I don't think the officials really played any part in the outcome of this game, or did they have any significant play in it. I just think the foul situation in the first half was very different because Dunmore was settling for 3-pointers while Northeast was attacking the entire time. When a team attacks, they get to the foul line.
Right.
When a team settles for 3-pointers, they don't get to the foul line.
Right. So let's talk about a little bit of talent that we've seen on the floor tonight.
Yeah.
We already talked about Jacklinski, Chrissy Jacklinski. Let me say her full name, so she could get the recognition that she deserves.
What a great player.
What do you think of her? What's the bright spot about her?
She's quietly gonna give you 12 to 14 every game.
Right.
Because if you looked at that game, you saw Allers and you saw Small, and they really stood out in that game. And then you looked at the stats at the end and wow, Christy had another great game, and she's always there.
Yeah, and I thought she was kind of off tonight, but you're right though. You look at she had 12 points.
Ended up being one of the leader scorers at the end.
Right.
Another thing about her is she's just a great kid. She's there, involved in everything. She picks her teammates up quietly. Never really complains about everything. Just plays the game.
Right. What about what's Alders?
Alders?
Yeah,
Ehlers.
How are you saying?
Jalen Allers.
Jalen
Allers. Just another kid that's really coming into her own. Watching her, the hard work that kid puts in every single week. Her father, Everett, trains her all the time.
Right.
And does a great job with her. Everett's a good basketball trainer in this area that works with a bunch of kids from Wyoming Valley Clutch. And I've met him many times on park courts where he's been working with kids, and we've picked a couple things up from each other, and just a great basketball mind
Right.
that works with his daughter, and it just looks like she's having so much fun out there.
Yeah.
The kid had a smile on her face from the opening tip until the end, no matter what she was doing.
Right. That's one thing we didn't talk about. One thing when we were putting out our preview for the game, we didn't account for her. We missed her. We should have accounted for her because she played a phenomenal game tonight, and my hat goes off to Everett, her father, for the job that he's doing with her. I mean, me and him don't always see the eye to eye, but he's doing a great job with his daughter, and I respect that 100%.
Yeah, I've known Ed for a little while now throughout the basketball world, and he really does a good job with the kids. Especially the Wyoming Valley Clutch program, too, is, we did mention APA Elite with these kids, and
Right.
it's two programs working together there to form a school team.
Right.
They're doing very well coming from two different programs.
Right.
And working together, and that's a testimony to the kids.
Right. That's the best thing he probably could have did with his daughter is take her up there.
Yeah, it ended up working out very good for them.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt. So let's get to the small. They say she's small, but she's huge.
She plays
Zaya
huge.
Smalls. Let's 18 points.
18 points, 13 rebounds,
Ugh,
and 6 steals.
what a nightmare.
You want to fill the stat card.
She's so earlier today our writers called her the next Sierra Toomey. What do you think about that?
That's tough. Sierra is special. She really is a special kid. I mean, she works so hard at what she does, and her game is so smooth. If Small wants to get to that point, she needs to develop the outside game, because if you watch Sierra, she'll hit you from NBA, WNBA range like nothing, and then attack you to the basket and finish with a fadeaway jumper over you.
Right.
Unfortunately, you don't see that in Zaya's game yet. But I think that's the next thing she should start to develop, whether it's in practice with Coach Cognetti or whether it's just going to the park, just start getting some jump shots up.
Right.
Because unfortunately what you see with a kid that is that tall at such a young age, they get to where they're just under the post. Now, I got to give the kid credit because she can handle the ball.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm talking. So that's what we were talking about last year. Last year, I was saying to her mother, Tiffany, that she needs to get a handle. She was going behind the back today.
behind the back, between the legs, and you're talking somebody who's 6 foot tall, dribbling the ball only a foot or foot and a half off the floor.
Right.
Her dribble was low. Seeing
Right.
Dunmore defenders, they're reaching down so low to try to get that, and they still couldn't get it.
Right. I gotta shout my boy out for working with her on her dribble, Ruben. I don't know how to say his last name. How you say his last name? Galowski or whatever.
You're gonna do better with that than I am.
Shout out to Ruben
You're gonna do better with that than I am.
and his training, because he's getting her with her handle.
Yeah, if anybody's gonna help with your handle in this area, and as far as understanding, developing a guard position like that, Ruben's very, very good at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
He could teach you some scary handles.
No
but
doubt.
you could see it live in the game right there.
No doubt.
So and let's talk about the fourth quarter from Dunmore as they started to come back. They really found their true identity.
Yeah.
And they started knocking down the threes.
Amanda Dempsey started to knock down her shots,
She
which
knocked down 2
she
threes.
wasn't able to earlier in the game.
Yep. Even family name Louise Blackwell
Yes.
stepped in and knocked down a 3 as well, and that's Dunmore's strength.
Yeah, and then they started to D up. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened to them. They didn't D up from the get go. I think if they're going to try to go out there and get the game, they have to put their best defenders on the floor. You have to play defense with them, against them, because offensively you're fine, because Amanda's one of your best defender and she can also score. So you're fine. So I wouldn't worry about getting shooters on the floor. I would worry about getting my defenders on the floor with Amanda, and let's get ready to roll.
Yeah, you might have to consider that early on in the game, because if you look at the way Northeast took their lead, it was from defense.
Right.
And that's what it started with.
Right.
And I think, like we mentioned, Dunmore really needs to slow things down against them.
Right. Yeah, because they're too fast for them.
Yes.
I mean, there's only one girl on Dunmore who can really run with them, and I ain't gonna say it, but it may be my baby, but it may be my daughter, but she can run. She can run. She's fast.
She's
That's what she
very
does.
fast. Yeah, she got up and down the court with them very well, and just going forward, keep somebody back.
Right.
That was the glaring thing from this game, but well played game by Northeast and
Yeah.
Dunmore in the end. And excited to see what's going to come Wednesday night.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, and you know what? Something else we'll talk about Wednesday night. Jackie Brown was off tonight. She missed some easy layups. I don't see that happening again. She really goes 2 games where she's off like that.
Yep.
And Lena Conti. We didn't even talk about Lena Conti. She's a dog. She was off tonight as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot closer game in Dunmore on Wednesday.
Right. And I think the Dunmore fans will turn out too.
There you go.
I think you're going to have a lot of those students
up in Bucks County
from the high school in the building. I think so.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Right.
So let's finish this up here, and we're going to put each other on the spot here. What do we think the final score? 46-32 today?
Right.
What's the prediction for Wednesday night?
For Wednesday night?
Yeah.
50-30, Dunmore.
All right, what a big prediction there. I'm going to go with the final score being 39 Northeast to 34 Dunmore.
Oh, man. Kick him off the show. Throw it out the window. He's done.
That's part of our job and have a little controversy, but...
Right. Just so the people know. Just so the people know out there, my daughter is on Dunmore. So
we all know.
I gotta go with Dunmore.
Yep.
You know?
Well, Irv, great show. Thanks for stopping by to be on here with me today. Look forward to many more of these. People, stay tuned. The high school season's even going to be more. It's going to be exciting. We're going to break things down. Get ready for a good season.